entertaining. Lady C, nothing's working. The cover-up.
It's me. Look, I'm all about parents being proud of their kids and so on and so on. But the way that Meghan and Harry have gone about shielding their kids from us, talking about how they can't be bullied and leave them alone, yada, yada, yada. For her to go out and now start debuting them in little pockets for With Love.
Meghan Markle, just the name alone makes headlines explode. She's been called calculating, manipulative, ambitious, every label in the book. But you know what? None of that even compares to what's bubbling up right now. Because this latest bombshell, if true, makes every past scandal of hers look like child's play. The whispers that used to hide in the shadows, they're roaring now. And the cracks in Meghan's carefully polished fairy tale are splitting wide open. Because here's the gut punch. Meghan Markle might not just be the mom of Archie and Lilibet. Oh no. She might already be the mother of a 30-year-old daughter, which, yes, makes her, brace yourself, a grandmother.
I mean, that's the weird thing, isn't it, about when people just want to tell open lies. Now, this latest absolute lie really goes around Archie and Lily, right? Now, if there were two children, that was a mystery.
Let that sink in. The Duchess, who crafted her whole image around late motherhood, who painted herself as the misunderstood glowing mom of two on Netflix, could have a fully grown daughter walking this planet. If that's true, every documentary, every podcast, every speech about protecting my children from the monarchy crumbles into nothing more than a performance. And poor Harry? He'd be left utterly gobsmacked, humiliated, blindsided, and standing like a fool in the ashes of a marriage built on carefully hidden truths. And here's the kicker. Don't expect the royals to rush in with a lifeboat this time. King Charles, William, even Camilla, they're washing their hands of it. Meghan has burned every ounce of goodwill she ever had. The palace is reportedly shrugging and whispering, "We warned him. If Harry's drowning in her mess, let him." But this isn't just palace drama. This is about Meghan's missing chapter. The infamous ghost year royal biographers have nervously tiptoed around for decades. Officially, Meghan graduated from Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles in 1994. Then, according to her, she took a gap year before heading to Northwestern University in 1995. Sounds normal, right? A bright young girl taking a year off to travel, figure herself out, and prepare for adulthood. Except, plot twist, there's zero proof of that gap year. None. No travel records, no photos of her backpacking across Europe, no exchange program friends, no postcards or journals sent to loved ones, nothing but silence. A black hole in her timeline. And this was the mid-1990s, not ancient history. Someone should remember something, but nobody does.
Samantha suffers from multiple sclerosis and is wheelchair-bound.
So what really went down during Meghan Markle's mysterious gap year? According to the whispers that grow louder every day, she wasn't sipping wine in Italy or studying French in Paris. She was walking down the aisle in Las Vegas. Yes, Vegas, the city of neon lights, Elvis impersonators, and quickie weddings. Picture it, summer of 1994. Freshly graduated, just 18 years old, Meghan walks nervously into a little chapel off the strip. No tiara, no castle, no royal fanfare, just a teenage girl rushing into a marriage, and standing beside her, a man whose name is scrubbed from every official biography but still lingers like a ghost in the margins of her story. The alleged witnesses? Her half-siblings, Thomas Markle Jr. and Samantha Markle, who, let's face it, have never been shy about dragging her name through the mud. Within months, the marriage was annulled. Embarrassing? Yes. But if it ended there, we'd chalk it up as a teenage mistake. A funny oops story to laugh about decades later. But the whispers? They go further, much further, because alongside that annulment came something far more permanent.
For Meghan, you can't build an empire when you're burning through your architects. No amount of branded coffee or curated glossy Instagram posts can make the instability behind the scenes.
They say Meghan's ghost year wasn't about soul searching. It was about hiding a marriage, hiding a pregnancy, hiding the arrival of a child who would now be around 30 years old. Skeptical? Sure. A secret baby sounds like tabloid fantasy. But think about it. Meghan vanishes for a year, reappears at Northwestern as if nothing happened. No baby bump photos, no proof of global adventures, just a blank slate and a carefully polished cover story. Then there's the paperwork. Teen marriages and annulments are public record, right? But in Meghan's case, the alleged annulment papers from Clark County, Nevada are sealed. Sealed. That's not normal. Normally, teenage missteps sit openly in archives for anyone curious enough to dig. Why go to such extreme lengths over a silly teenage wedding, unless that wedding and what followed weren't silly at all? Even respected royal commentators like Ingrid Seward have whispered about Meghan's ghost year. No evidence, no witnesses, just silence. And silence that loud? Deafening. Now imagine the fallout if this child exists. Meghan Markle, the feminist mom who built her brand around late motherhood, secretly had a baby at 18. That child would now be 30, maybe with kids of their own, which would make Meghan not just a mother of toddlers in Montecito, but a grandmother. And Harry? Oh, poor Harry, the man who gave up his military career, his royal duties, and his entire family for Meghan, would suddenly realize he's been blindsided yet again. Already mocked as whipped by the press, already painted as a man dragged by Meghan's ambition, he'd now be the husband who didn't even know the full truth about his wife's past. The humiliation wouldn't just land on Meghan, it would crush Harry. Meghan has always been slammed for her manipulative PR moves, but Harry? He's portrayed as the gullible puppy trailing behind her. If it turns out she's been hiding a child all along, the ridicule would be merciless. He'd be the prince who gave up everything for a woman who couldn't even tell him the truth about her own family. And don't think the royals haven't heard these whispers. Palace insiders have quietly filed them away for years, dismissing them as too outrageous. But now, with Meghan's credibility already hanging by a thread, Spotify gone, Netflix dragging its feet, the public turning cold, these rumors are being dusted off and dragged back into the spotlight. Because let's be real, brands live and die on credibility. And Meghan's brand? It's already dangling by a thread. If proof of a hidden daughter surfaces, her empire collapses overnight. No more silenced Duchess, no more modern-day Diana, just Meghan Markle, the manipulative liar who allegedly erased her own child for fame. And the irony? Meghan's whole identity has been about exposing monarchy secrets. She styled herself as the truth teller, the whistleblower. But if she's been hiding a secret child, she becomes the very thing she claims to despise. A woman living behind lies, crafting narratives, burying the truth. That's why royal insiders are buzzing louder than ever. Because if there really is a 30-year-old daughter, it doesn't just rewrite Meghan's history. It rewrites Harry's, it rewrites Archie and Lilibet's story. And it drags the royal family into yet another scandal they never saw coming. So the question is simple. Did Meghan really spend her gap year finding herself, or did she spend it hiding a baby? And if the truth comes out, will Harry stand by her, or finally see her for who she really is? Now here's where things spiral from whispers to a full-blown tabloid hurricane. Once people started connecting the dots, the story didn't just linger on Meghan's infamous missing year, it began unraveling everything she stitched together for 2 decades. Think about it. Every time Meghan publicly spoke about motherhood, she wrapped herself in this halo of sacrifice and empowerment. She sold herself as the woman who waited, who chose love later, who proved that women in their late 30s could still have it all: romance, royalty, and a family. But if she already had a daughter back in the 90s, that halo shatters instantly. The fairy tale collapses into dust. Suddenly, Meghan isn't the saint of Montecito. She's a woman who allegedly erased her own past to sell a shiny new lie. And let's face it, there's nothing the public despises more than hypocrisy. The whispers cut even deeper. Some say this alleged daughter wasn't hidden because of shame, but because Meghan deliberately built a narrative that excluded her. Just imagine the audacity, building a billion-dollar image around being a doting mother to Archie and Lilibet, while somewhere in the world, a 30-year-old woman watches her biological mother pretend she doesn't even exist. That's not just a PR disaster, it's a betrayal of motherhood itself. And in today's world, where authenticity is everything, this would nuke Meghan's reputation overnight, but you know what really makes it sting? Harry's role, or rather his total lack of one. Poor Harry, the so-called ginger prince who's been marching around like Meghan's personal knight in shining armor, shielding her from criticism left and right. Imagine him discovering that his wife may have left out the single biggest chapter of her life. Sources whisper Harry was speechless, literally speechless, when the first serious rumblings reached him, stuck between disbelief and humiliation. Because if it's true, then he hasn't just been duped by Meghan, he's been made into the world's laughingstock. And if there's one thing Harry dreads, it's being seen as the fool.
Started to realize, aha, when you have a wedding and people start drinking champagne at the reception, they start talking.
Right.
So what could the motive be for keeping?
Now, let's circle back to that Vegas marriage. Meghan may have tried to bury the paperwork, but there are always people who remember. A neighbor who swore Meghan vanished for months. A classmate who noticed she never once mentioned traveling abroad. And of course, Samantha Markle, the half-sister who's never missed a chance to call Meghan a liar. If Samantha ever pulls out evidence, even a shred of proof, that Meghan secretly married and had a child, Meghan's carefully curated empire crumbles on the spot. Imagine Samantha on live TV smugly holding documents while Meghan hides behind her Montecito gates. The humiliation would be unbearable. And don't forget, the alleged daughter isn't a child anymore. She's a grown woman in her 30s, old enough to speak, old enough to step forward, old enough to rewrite Meghan's entire history in a single sit-down interview. Can you even imagine the media war that would erupt if this woman sat down with Oprah, or worse, Piers Morgan? It would be the scandal of the decade. This daughter could tell a story of abandonment, of being erased while her mother paraded around as the modern saint of motherhood. Meghan's well-timed crocodile tears wouldn't stand a chance against a raw, unfiltered voice like that. And for Meghan, the queen of controlling her narrative, that loss of control would be the ultimate nightmare. Harry, he'd be crushed beyond repair. He left his family, his country, his titles, all for Meghan. He believed she was the truth teller, the one person who rescued him from palace lies, and then to discover that she was spinning an even bigger lie all along, it would break him. William, meanwhile, would be livid, not just because Meghan dragged Harry into yet another scandal, but because this revelation would stain the monarchy by association. William has spent years shielding the crown from Meghan's chaos, and this could be the nail in the coffin of their relationship. If Meghan thought William was cold before, she hasn't seen anything yet.
To a T. I mean, very well. It wasn't until she started to make her positions clear and continuously play the victim from the palace.
Behind the scenes, media networks are frothing at the mouth, already hunting for this alleged daughter. If she exists, it's only a matter of time before she's found. And once she is, game over. No Netflix series, no glossy magazine features, no speaking tours. Once the world knows she's been lying about something this sacred, Meghan is untouchable. Even if no daughter ever comes forward, even if the record stays sealed, the suspicion won't vanish. Every time Meghan posts a photo of Archie or Lilibet, people will whisper, "What about the first one?" Every speech about authenticity will be met with snickers. This scandal stains her permanently. By now, the whispers aren't whispers anymore. They're thunderclaps echoing through social media, newspapers, talk shows. What started as a rumor has snowballed into a cultural storm, and Meghan's response, or lack of one, has only poured gasoline on the fire. Her silence, where she usually thrives on preaching, speaks louder than words. If this was nothing but nonsense, why hasn't she shut it down? Instead, she stays mute. And the longer she's quiet, the more the narrative spins out of control. Meanwhile, Harry looks like a deer in headlights, ginger, speechless, and humiliated. TikTok is mocking him. Twitter memes are brutal. Even late-night comedians are dragging them. And Samantha Markle? She's circling like a vulture, tossing cryptic hints that fuel the frenzy. Every smirk, every half-comment adds fuel to the fire. Executives at Netflix and Spotify are rolling their eyes. She's radioactive, one insider allegedly said. And you know what? They're right. Meghan's obsession with control has backfired spectacularly. The world has latched onto this alleged daughter scandal, and no amount of staged pap walks or glossy interviews can erase it. And that's Meghan's worst nightmare. Not just rage, but mockery. Because once the world starts laughing at you, it's over. And for Meghan Markle, the Duchess who once thought she could outmaneuver everyone, this could very well be the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end.